Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07. Today we are playing 70 card Enigmatic Incarnation Brew. Okay, so since the Yorion ban I didn't play this archetype much because it's very hard to put this together in a 60 card version, but with up the Beanstalk lately there are a lot of decks playing more than 60 cards and having good success. So the card advantage that Beanstalk brings, it's kind of a new reason to go play more than 60 cards in your deck, and Enigmatic Incarnation is a great shell to do so. This deck already wants to play more than 60 cards because you need to play enough of your enchantments, and then you have to play enough of the creatures that you can tutor with your enchantments. Okay, so that requires a lot of cards. Okay, so why play Enigmatic Incarnation? So with Utopia Sprawl, Enigmatic Incarnation and Leyline Binding, you can you can put Atraxa into play on turn 3. So this is basically in a lot of against a lot of matchups, this is a combo play to cheat in Atraxa into play on turn 3 or turn 4, and this is very strong. Like Atraxa turn 3 wins games. It's like pseudo creativity, let's say. So way to cheat in Atraxa, and this can really turn tables in a lot of matchups, not just on turn 3 and turn 4, but later in the game, in the mid game, in the late game. It's very powerful. Okay, so and it's just a very easy, simple way to do it, and it works very well. But you don't have to do that to have enough reason to play Enigmatic Incarnation in your deck. So we have Fable here, so which is a very good card by itself, very good in the metagame. We have Beanstalk, also just one of the best cards in the metagame. We have Touch the Spirit Realm, which is also 3 mana enchantment, which can help us tutor for Omnat, but can also be used as pseudo ephemerate for our elementals, and a removal for big creatures that exile stuff. Okay, also it can exile the ring, which is important in the ring mirrors, yeah. Okay, so other than this, we are playing some one-offs and two-offs as a tutor targets for our Enigmatic Incarnation. So in 3-drop slot we have Eternal Witness and Rallier, so we don't really want to sacrifice the Beanstalk, but it is good to sacrifice it if you'll get back it immediately with Rallier or Witness, or sometimes you will get something that's more important to you, of course, like Ephemerate. But both of these cards put Beanstalk either back into play or in your hand, which is what you want to do. So in the 2-drop slot, if we sack Utopia Sprawl, we can get Orcish Bowmaster, so have just 2 of those in the deck, as we can tutor it consistently with Enigmatic Incarnation, so have a good access to it. In the mirror matchups when you're playing against other Beanstalk, it's a very good hate piece which you can tutor, so it's very powerful tool. Okay, so other than that, we can sack if you have a double Enigmatic Incarnation in the battlefield, we can sack both of them to find the 5 mana elementals, which is also very powerful at times. Okay, so on the sideboard, more enchantments. We can sack Spreading Seas and Hiretsugu Consumes All are the most important, but there are also other playables like Dress Down. Yeah, okay, so also we have other 2-drops, 3-drops which you can tutor with our Enigmatic in the post-board games, like Core Firewalker, most important against the burn, Endurance as Graveyard Hate, also Lavinia, which is great against Cascade matchups, especially against Cascade Beans, but also works against Living End very well, and not so well against Rhinos, but it's useful there too. Okay, so other than that, Hiretsugu is removal, a great removal which we can use against Scales, against Hammer, against Rhinos, against Shadow decks, Prowess, but also we can sack it on Enigmatic, use it to get Omnat into field, so it's more useful in this deck than in others. Also we have Wrenn 6 Souls Boseiji on the sideboard, Knight of Autumn as another tutor target together with Collector Offie, and 2 Force of Figures as artifact enchantment hate in this deck. Okay, so that is it. We covered everything, I think, so we can check out the gameplay. Okay, so this deck felt very powerful, but also it's kind of has a very good matchups and also some bad matchups. In the mid-range matchups, it can often find the edge to win the game, like using the Enigmatic Incarnation. Enigmatic Incarnation is also super strong against mid-range matchups like Murktide and Scam. If you can get that engine going, it's very hard for them to beat this. Okay, so playing against Yawgmoth there, going for the Beanstalk. Opponent then gets the Yawgmoth on the field. I play the Utopia Sprawl and go for the Binding, take the Yawgmoth there. My opponent, I didn't find a red card for Fury, which I was hoping for, so my opponent can just Havermite my Binding, get their Yawgmoth back, but I have another one in hand, so I'm okay with that. Of course they do this immediately. Play another Utopia, again go for Binding. This time opponent has Bowmasters, which they can play in response to the Beanstalk trigger to get another ping. Yeah, so I go for Yawgmoth, take their Yawgmoth, and now I have multiple options. Of course, I have 6 mana on the field, land in hand, which means I can go for Atraxa Hardcast next turn, which will hopefully give me a lot of white and red cards, so I can pitch cast my elementals and clear their entire board. Again, opponent goes Agatha, take the Havermite, which is very powerful play. I play a lot of enchantments in this deck, obviously, and having Havermite exiled with Agatha is just a nightmare. Okay, so I go for Atraxa here, and this is definitely one of the big reasons to play this deck, Atraxa, and not just Atraxa, but also plenty of ways easy ways to put her into play, like having 4 Omnats in the deck, which can ramp us on turn 5 to get the Atraxa on the field, or with even earlier on turn 3 or 4 with Enigmatic. Yeah, okay, so this variant is slightly different from what you saw in the beginning. The variant you saw in the beginning is my last variant I decided for, and in this version I played Rushed Rebirth instead of Ephemerate. I think Ephemerate is better because of the white card count for Solitude, and it was pretty relevant in a lot of situations, so I decided to do that switch, although they're doing slightly different things. But yeah, okay, so let's check out game 2, sorry. Okay, so have the Beanstalk, have the Fury. Fury is extremely powerful card in this matchup. So I'm always hoping with a Fury to like hit it on the best possible best possible way, and I go for the Beanstalk, kind of expecting them to go for the Bowmaster and probably use this Fury immediately. Yeah, so they get another ping and I decide to go for Fury immediately, and this way I can kill Orc Army and the Orcish Bowmaster. So turn 3 I have the Leyline Binding, and I can curve into turn 4 Enigmatic Incarnation, getting me Atraxa if they don't play any of the enchantment removals. Opponent going for the Bowmaster again. I decide to go for Binding immediately. let them do another ping, get the Orc Army token, but yeah, I only care about putting enigmatic binding on the field so I can sack it to get the Atraxa. Opponent attacks me playing Yawgmoth. Yeah, I play my enigmatic there and hoping to get Atraxa into hand and get a bunch of good draws here and be able to clear their board. Yeah, I get a lot of cards, 5 cards in hand, immediately using the Solitude, getting another ping for the Bowmaster, but that is fine because Atraxa has lifelink. It's very hard for them to deal with. I go for Solitude, exile the Yawgmoth, and they even like sack the Bowmaster, which was like pretty weird, sacking the Bowmaster there by opponent, but yeah, okay. I have Atraxa on the field, a lot of good cards in hand, enigmatic also on the field. Opponent finds a solution for Atraxa, but it doesn't matter, I have like too much stuff at this point. I go for Fury, Rushed Rebirth, get Omnat on the field, and now with Omnat on the field I'm completely stabilized. I have fetches to gain life, bindings, solitudes. There's just no way opponent can do anything relevant here. Yeah. Even with them killing the Omnat, I have just too much at this point. Okay, so I exile their creature in response and they concede the game. That is the match. Yeah, okay, so let's check out another one. Match 2 was playing second, and yeah, I had a weird one lander, but I think with Utopia Sprawl this is pretty keepable. So I can go like basic Utopia Sprawl, play turn 2 Wrenn 6. Hopefully if I resolve this, yeah, I draw the tomb for the turn so I can go like a heat with next turn go find Yeskai land to get the full domain and still play the Wrenn 6. So my opponent plays the 1/1 channeler, so I decided just to ping them with Wrenn, play the fetch to get the Yeskai Triome, and go for Beanstalk on my turn probably. Yeah, so they tap out completely, which is great for me to try to resolve those Beanstalks. Yeah, so I go find a land, I play double Beanstalk and my opponent I think concedes. Yeah, so I went for second Beanstalk and they don't have a solution for the Beanstalk. They know they can't beat this, so they concede immediately. That is the game. Let's check out game 2. Okay, so my sideboard was slightly different in this version, so there's like no point in me showing my sideboard decisions for this one. You can check it, but I had a few different options there, so there's like no good way to show my sideboard decisions in this video. Okay, I decide to go for Utopia there, naming white. Yeah, I had maybe this wasn't the best naming there. I had to go for lose 3 life to get the Foundry there. And I was already on 14 with Ragavan attacking me next turn. I could have definitely maybe named better, and I went for another Wrenn 6 to try to kill Ragavan. That didn't work, so I played a second Binding, which finally resolved. And now I had options to play Omnat next turn, try to stabilize again, and I also had Beanstalk and Utopia, but my opponent Also in good position, dashing Ragavan, probably holding some interaction. Unfortunately for me, they had a counterspell for my Omnat. That was a crucial play. And yeah, so now I'm on 8. They have another Ragavan dash. A lot of mana on their side, a lot of treasures. So they can play most of the stuff they hit. They play Flame of Feiner, draw 2 and play the Channeler, pass the turn. I go for the Beanstalk and unfortunately don't have that red mana or red card to pitch cast the Fury or mana to play the Endurance, and they got the Orcish Bowmaster from my top, which was then the game over. I tried to get Enigmatic to find the Atraxa, but opponent has another counter spell, so that is it. Let's check out the game 3. Yeah, okay, so game 3 now. Playing first, much easier, especially with this type of hand, like 2 Bowmasters, 2 Wrenn 6 and a Fable against blue-red deck is like extremely powerful. Okay, they didn't play a creature on turn 1 and they showed a lot of counters like Spell Pierce and Spell Snare that can counter my Wrenn 6. So I decided to go for the Bowmaster first, try to get the counterspell, for them to use the counterspell on that. I played the Bowmaster, they didn't have it, they just went for the heat, and yeah. They still had the mana open, but I went for Wrenn 6 anyway. Unfortunately they went for Snare, but it was fine. I got the third land from the top, so I was able to get that third land I needed to play the Fable. Yeah, okay, so my opponent, attacking opponent, they're on 12. I can play my Fable now. But yeah, okay, so I decided to hold the binding. Opponent, I was trying to kill the DRC, and it seemed like my opponent doesn't have a good way to get them Delirium, so I tried to ping them with Bowmaster in response to iteration, and it worked. I killed the Bowmaster, I killed the DRC, and I still had the Touch the Spirit Realm to protect the Bowmaster, try to blink it. I go for a Fable there, hoping to resolve this, but they have a counterspell. They're also on 8 life and I have 3 damage on the field, attacking, and also have the Bowmaster protected with touch. Opponent cantripping, trying to get out of this situation, and they play Kira, which is pretty interesting. I don't have a way to deal with this one at this point. I have Solitude and the Rush Rebirth and Touch the Spirit, so I can basically tutor for anything. But I attack for my Orc army here for 3 and pass the turn. Opponent going for iteration, so I have some options here. Definitely what I want to do is attack with this Orc army and also just put the Solitude on the field so I can start attacking with that too. Opponent only has 1 blue mana open right now, and yeah, so now I can't use the Fury efficiently here because opponent has Kira on the field, but I can force them to trade with Kira. I really want to get rid of Kira. Also using the Rush Rebirth to get the Endurance, exile their graveyard. Now they can't play the Murktide, they can't even play the Unholy Heat to kill my Endurance. They're on 4, and yeah, they try to go for the Preordain but don't find anything and concede. That is the match. Okay, so let's check out another one. Okay, again keeping a one lander, but I have Utopia Sprawl and Wrenn 6 also playing first, so it's not easy for my opponent to interrupt my turn 2 Wrenn. Yeah, opponent plays the Sparbluff Canal and Preordain, so luckily no Spell Pierce or Spell Snare. From them I can safely resolve my Wrenn 6, hopefully, of course. So, yeah. I just go for the Wrenn, get my land back, pass the turn, hold the bolt, and on my turn I can choose to go like Enigmatic or Omrat. So with the Leyline Binding in hand, I can just go for the Binding next turn and Enigmatic on the same turn, then get Atraxa on the field, which can be really powerful. Opponent just going bold face just to find Unholy Heat to get rid of the Omrat. I crack a Shocking Temple Garden, play another Utopia. I try to resolve the Beanstalk, mostly like just getting their counterspell out of the hand this way. So now I'm hoping for them to play some threat I can use the Leyline Binding on. Yeah. Decide to go just for Bolt and hold the Binding for a more important threat like Murktide Regent, of course. And this is ideal now situation. I can go Binding the Regent, take their 8/8 Murktide and then sack the Binding end of turn, get Atraxa on the field and bring them back 3/3 Murktide, which is not that scary, of course. So I go here for Enigmatic definitely. Also my Wrenn is at 7 at this point, so I just get my Atraxa back, draw a bunch of cards, they get back the 3/3 Murktide and immediately concede. That is the game. Let's check out the game 2. So as you could see in a lot of these matches, Atraxa was just so important. It very easily wins these mid-range matchups, and having access to Enigmatic is just so relevant. Okay, I kept a one lander here, but I had Lorien revealed. I have to choose which land to get here. I can use mostly like Steam Vents enable me to play Wrenn 6, but also I could go for Triome here. With the Steam Vents enable me to play both Wrenn and up the Beanstalk. I decide to try to resolve Wrenn first, and they counter it, of course. Then they play the Preordain and tap out for Ragavan, which is like probably a window to try to resolve this Beanstalk, also hoping to get the land. Unfortunately, opponent has a null to get rid of my Beanstalk, so pretty bad situation for me at the moment. I definitely need something to get me back into this game. Definitely lands are welcome. Opponent luckily exiles Enigmatic from the top and I get the land. So getting a Temple Garden here so I can get full domain, also playing Utopia Sprawl, naming black. And yeah, so now from 2 lands I got to 4 mana. And this means I have multiple options here to play. I go for the Bowmasters on their turn, try to kill the Ragavan, and I succeed to do so. Yeah, Bowmaster is pretty good against their deck, as you could see. I killed Ragavan DRC multiple times, it was very impactful. Okay, so going for Eternal Witness here, I really need those lands, so I got back the Flooded Strand. Attacking with my Bowmasters, and yeah, from very unfavorable position I got to pretty good one. So I now have also I'm able to fetch that white basic and even I'm not sure if they play the Blood Moon, but even if they do, now I got a solution for it. So I go. I wasn't really afraid of the Blood Moon there, so I just went for the island. Have 4 damage on the field, attacking. They killed Omnat immediately. Okay, so opponent just 2 cards in hand and probably didn't get any significant top deck, and they decide to concede. So that was the match. Another win, and let's now check out those 2 defeats and how that went. All games were like very close. So this, unfortunately, this defeat I had to mulligan to 5 cards. Kept Binding plus Enigmatic, so this I'm playing first, and this is basically a combo. So I'm hoping to just play the Binding in the early turns and just Enigmatic for Atraxa. Get Atraxa early in the game, on the battlefield. Yeah. Okay, so now I go for Binding, get their Beanstalk, and play my Beanstalk, and unfortunately I draw Atraxa. That is like the only card I didn't want to see. And yeah, so now this was a big problem for me. I was not able to get that top deck land from top and put Atraxa in the field immediately. I had to discard Atraxa in this situation to try to get something more relevant, and this was this was a big problem. Okay, so opponent played Brew from my channel, which got a trophy recently, and this is a recent brew from my channel. So Rokirik Zoo Cascade Zoo Rokirik Beans, and yeah, so it is the aggro variant of Cascade Beans list, playing Territorial Cow as another Cascade hit for all the for Bloodberry Delves and Charlotte's Agents, but also playing General Ferris Rokirik as a payoff for all those multicolor spells. But at the same time, still there is pitch elementals there, both Solitude and Fury, and the Leyline Binding, which work well with the beans. Yeah, okay, so opponent was stuck on lands here. I had Witness, I had Solitude also right now, taking out their Cow, which was pretty important. Decided to trade with the Bloodbraid Elf and let the 3 damage through. Didn't want to trade with Solitude because yeah, I get the life back and the ability to kill the fairy. Putting Enigmatic on the field. At this exact moment I don't have hits for Enigmatic, but this can often like quickly change in a lot of matchups. And just another enchantment from the top can really turn the game around. Okay, so opponent playing triggering Beanstalk a bunch of times so I can grow my Orc Army token, try to pressure them. Opponent killed my creatures except for the Orc Army, and I got my own Beanstalk here. I was about to play the Touch, the Spirit Realm, to get the Omnat, but I top decked the Omnat, so I didn't want to sack the Touch in this situation. I didn't have the Rallier at this point, and my Witness was only 3-drop target, so I was not able to sack the Beanstalk to get the Rallier. I think Rallier is indeed one of the best 3-drop hits for this deck, getting back the Beanstalk immediately, putting body on the field, which immediately draws you the card. And yeah, so I played finally that Omnat and putting my other Enigmatic on the field. So I have option to get another Omnat if opponent kills this one, but also if I get another Enigmatic or a Leyline Binding, I can get my Enigmatic back and then sack both Enigmatics and put 2 Elementals on the field. Yeah, so tables turning each turn by top decks plays from the both players. Very strong ones. Okay, so end of turn, I decide to sack one of the Enigmatics and touch the Spirit Realm. So this way I got Omnat on the field and Fury killing their creature and still have Enigmatic on the field. Opponent then on their turn plays a bunch of cards, getting rid of a lot of the stuff from my side of the field. Then again I go for Prismatic Ending just to trigger my Beanstalk, and I got the Leyline Binding from the top, so I could play Binding again, getting back my second Enigmatic. And yeah, so this was what I was talking about. I can sack both Enigmatics, put 2 Furies on the field, which is a lot of damage, and kill their entire board basically. So I had lethal damage on their turn, but opponent finds General Rokiric and the Kavu and the Scion to stabilize again, put a lot of power on the field. So yeah, again I need something to win this, and I find a Wrenn 6 to kill the Rokiric, I find a Binding to get back my Omnat, play a fetch, get the mana to cast the Solitude. So I completely turned the game around again. So every turn this happens basically, and every turn opponent does like a lot of stuff to change the entire board situation. These games are just incredible, and the Beanstalk power is really amazing. And yeah, but I got let's say the better draws in this one. I was trying to finish off by my opponents, but they were holding pretty good. At this point I got the Bowmasters on the field, putting them on 2 life, which is really low, and my opponent has 2 Beanstalks on the field, so if they play any 5 mana spell which triggers the Beanstalk, they immediately die, and that was the game. Finally I got to it. Okay, so let's check out the game 2. I got the Force of Figure from the sideboard, which can be very useful in the matchup. Also Lavinia can be pretty brutal. I didn't have a mana at this point to play it, so I went for Utopia Sprawl to name a white, so I'm able to put Lavinia next turn into play. But I think this actually like was a mistake. I was able to put Lavinia into play, but I was not able to play my Wrenn 6, which was big problem. If I was able to put Wrenn 6 in the field, this would be a completely different game. Yeah, and now I was stuck on lands. I usually make sure I can play a Wrenn 6 if I draw it. This time I prioritized Lavinia, and it didn't pay off. So yeah, this was. Now I offered them trade with the general for Lavinia, and they took it. So next turn they were able to go for Charles. If I didn't trade with General Ferris Rokiric, they would get a lot of 4/4, 3/4/4s, which is not something I like. An opponent goes for Bloodbraid here, taking my Utopia Sprawl, making my situation even worse. Yeah, all of this because I didn't name red with Utopia Sprawl. Those small things really can define these games. And yeah, I had Wrenn 6 right now to get rid of their Ferris Rokiric, but without red mana I can't do this, and General Ferris Rakiric, if they cast just one spell with it on the field, it becomes a terrible threat, undealable with. But I got Wrenn on the field, getting rid of it on time, let's say. Opponent gets rid of my Wrenn 6, but I have another Boseiju to get my Wrenn back. All of this was not enough, and yeah, so I didn't have anything in hand. Opponent had a bunch of mana and a bunch of cards and the Beanstalk on the field, so even with Wrenn plus Boseiju, this was not enough for me to win this one. Okay, so that was game 2. Let's check out the game 3. Had to mulligan that starting 7. It was pretty good, except only having one land, unfortunately. So had to mulligan this. Pretty long games. My opponent and me both low on clock. Okay, so I went for the Beanstalk there, getting the Force of Vigor, but usually Force of Vigor is pretty good in this matchup. Yeah, so I decided to go for the Beanstalk immediately with my Prismatic Ending. Then probably, okay, yeah, so this was accidental mistake. I pressed F6, didn't expect my opponents to play a card like Ashiok, so I was not able to fetch before their Ashiok, and yeah, so this directly lost me the game. I was not able to play the touch because I didn't have that third mana. I was not able to play the witness or anything actually. So yeah, that definitely costed me the game. I would maybe lose despite not fetching here, but my draws without fetching were terrible, and I was not able to play anything from my hand, so that was it. Also, Force of Figures were kind of useless, not doing anything, and that was a problem too. And all of that, Ashiok got me there. I didn't fetch in response because I was on F6, so that was a match. And yeah, let's check out another one. This was a last match of the league, playing against Self-Facek. I'm not sure if it's pronounced that way, but yeah, this guy is playing this mono black deck, and yeah, it's really good. He got a lot of trophies with it, and the card deck is just performing very well each time I play against it in the leagues. Okay, so decided to go for the Wrenn 6. Maybe I should have waited on Wrenn. Just go for Utopia here, so I can next turn I could go like I was expecting the Bowmasters, and unfortunately opponent had a double Bowmasters, which is very good for them. I didn't have a removal right now, so this was a big problem. Yeah, I got Utopia Sprawl. This means I can play Omnath next turn and start gaining life. But also Omnath also means that I get 2 damage from the Bowmasters. Opponent has the Grief to get rid of my Omnath, which was very important for this matchup, for this game. So I played the Beanstalk, put another land on the field, and I got a bunch of lands in my hand. Opponent pressuring me with a lot of damage there. I had a good top deck, definitely Omnath into Bolt, getting rid of the Bowmasters, and Omnath gaining me a lot of life. So I was now, thanks to those lands I had, I was able to stabilize, despite them attacking me with the 4/4 or Karmi token and the Beanstalk on the field. Even this Wrench Mind was okay because I draw another land from top, gaining me a bunch of life, giving me enough time to find more top decks. At this point, opponent has the Urza Sagas active, so they can make 2 more constructs. But I got the Solitude here to clear one of their constructs, and I have I tapped badly there. Yeah, I should have tapped better. Also, if this was ephemerate, I would this game would be much easier for me. Rushed Rebirth is not bad. Rushed Rebirth is good, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not ephemerate, and I tapped badly, so I was not able to use the Rushed Rebirth there. If I was able to use it, if I tapped better, I would be able to play this on Solitude, get another Omnat, and then I would continue playing this game. And yeah, this way I lost this one, but I think I could have played definitely could have played better. And you think about this card, but it was like among first times playing this new list, and I didn't think all those options through. Yeah, okay, so in this game I started off with a forest, naming black with Utopia Sprawl. Yeah, this was not also maybe not the best option. Naming black with Utopia also means I can't play Omnat on a turn 3 or turn 4. Yeah, so maybe this was not a best decision, but I was planning on just holding for these Bowmasters for a long time too, so it wasn't a big deal. I just waited for them to make the construct token so I can kill it with the Bowmaster. Then I fetched to play the Bowmaster, kill the construct. Putting Bowmaster on the field can be pretty important. Omnat, 2 Omnat in the hand right now, 2 Solitudes, it's pretty good, and my opponent didn't have much. Okay, so I went for Omnat there, finally putting a land in the field. I now have a Fury, I have Solitude for the next turn, and that is like really good. Fury kills both of their creatures, enable me to start attacking. Also, I'm not taking any damage from the wreck this game. They get back their Doughty, but that is not a big deal. Okay, so yeah, they got Lily on the field, but that is not enough. Also, yeah, the Not Dead after all was actually pretty good for them. They got to play their own Omnat, gain some life, draw a card, play Inquisition, revealing 2 Solitudes so they can't discard anything, and yeah, I just proceeded to hardcast my Solitudes, kill their Lily, pressure their life total. Yeah, that's it. Opponent plays for a couple of more turns, but I got this one, and yeah, they concede quickly. So let's check out game 3. Okay, I had to mulligan this one and kept a decent 6, hoping for them to not discard my Wrenn 6, but yeah, they of course start with a turn 1 Grief Scam. Interestingly, they decide to let me keep my removals and discard my value cards. So obviously this is a different deck to scam, so they have different priorities. And my opponent yeah, my hand was not very good right now. I had that Grief attacking me. I was not able to find a solution for a red card. I was trying to find the red card so I can pitch cast the Fury, and my opponent's hand was just too good. Turn 1 Grief Scam followed with 2 Bowmasters, this is like unbeatable for my deck. I can't do anything about that. So that was it. Okay, so that is the entire league, but I felt like this deck is very powerful, and the games I lost were like very close, and I lost some of those because maybe I could have played better. Also didn't have had pretty bad rolls, or opponent had pretty good ones. But overall deck felt very good. The ability to use Enigmatic Incarnation to get Atraxa consistently and early on the field was like very relevant in a lot of matchups. Also having access to Orcish Bowmasters by tutoring it with Enigmatic Incarnation, it was huge. And my list also wasn't tweaked in this league. You saw me playing, so I think with this list, with updated list, it could do even better, and it feels even better than in that variant. And yeah, okay, so I think this deck is very competitive. It's a similar power level to other Omnat piles you see around, and definitely Enigmatic Incarnation is another option to go for, especially if you want to play more than 60 cards. It's a good reason to go over 60, and it's impossible to fit everything into 60. It can be done, but it takes a very specific builds. And that was it. Okay, so again, thank you for watching. A friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe. I want to hear your opinions about Enigmatic Incarnation and its comparison to the similar Omnat piles, and want to hear about your game experience with this deck. And yeah, that's it for today. Again, thanks for watching, and goodbye.